There is a new dawn in the desert of plenty. Borrego Springs is not just any desert, for it has one highly desirable element that sets it apart: water. Whatever the aspects of desert life, for man or plant, water is the one element that is absolutely mandatory. But in Borrego Springs, there is an abundance of water. Here, the rich underground watershed can be...
I had a friend who lives just across the fairway here, who I've known for 50 years, called one January, cold January, when I'm in Minnesota, and said, "We found paradise. You got to come and visit us." And we came and said, "Hey, this is gorgeous. The mountains are beautiful, the dryness, beautiful place."
When I first came to Borrego and the subject came up, a lot of the local town fathers and different people said, "Oh, don't worry about it. There's plenty of water here."
When I heard that there was a water shortage and we needed to do something about it, there wasn't anything I can do about it. In fact, I said, "Man, I'll be gone long before there's a real problem here."
I think the idea is that when aquifers are out of sight, they're out of mind, and there's nothing to worry about. We have these, you hear it time again in places around the Southwest and really around the world. Oh, we have an underground lake. We have this aquifer. It's like an underground lake, and it just replenishes. And then it rains in the mountains, and it refills your underground lake. And then with monitoring of wells and scientific monitoring, you find out really these desert areas especially are not being replenished.
In 1981, we actually had a couple of groundwater reports that had come out. And for me as a hydrogeologist, what happens is the key factor are the water levels going down, are they going up, or are they stable? I set up the groundwater monitoring network here in Borrego to provide what I consider to be irrefutable proof that in fact we were using more water than was going into the ground. The groundwater levels declines were consistent, constant, and expanding as time went on.
I'd never really pictured myself moving to a place that had a problem like this in Borrego, where some of the people were talking about having issues with being able to draw groundwater within my lifetime anyway. So it's interesting to be living that timeline. Some little burgs in the desert here, there used to be more people living there and they're pretty abandoned. I just drive through there and kind of cringe. Gosh, I hope Borrego doesn't end up looking like this.
We have no other sources of water. There is no extra in the Colorado River system. All that is over-allocated. We can't find some, magic bunny in a hat someplace that's going to rescue us as a community. So we're in it. We should be the ones that resolve it.
In the north part of the basin, we have almost 4,000 acres of agriculture, which is taking 70% of the groundwater in our basin. 20% is being utilized by recreation, which is in the form of the 6 golf courses in the valley, and 10% by the 3,000 people who live here. If we continue at our present extraction rates, our uppermost, which is the 3 of the aquifers here, but it's the most prolific of the 3, could be exhausted in as little as 35 years, but the average is about 50 years. We have about a 70% water reduction that needs to happen over the next 20 years.
But if it was a question of which would be worse for Borrego, get rid of the agriculture or the golf courses, I think the majority of the people would say better to get rid of the agriculture. With just the agriculture and not the golf courses, Borrego would not be much of a resort community.
We've been farming since 1957. My father started it in 57. I came aboard in 63. Each one of my sons have been here and laid out fields that we've planted. There's a lot of blood and sweat that's gone into it. We've had a number of farms that have had a golf course, say, bought them for their water rights. I've had a person ask me if I'd be interested in selling, but I told him no, that we're looking to try to see if we can sustain ourselves.
At first I thought, oh, what do I care? I won't be alive to worry about the water. But then you start thinking about it and about your children and grandchildren, and you think maybe you should try and do what you can do to help.
Over the last 10 years, even the last 5 years, we have had now the acknowledgement that we have a problem, and number two, we better start doing something about it. And what we've been doing is trying to make sure that everybody doesn't point the finger at everybody else. It's their fault. So yes, is the movement adequate? It's starting.
The coalition, by being together, has done away with a lot of this mistrust. And I think that's been a real blessing. We can talk, shake hands with the Water District, the Park Service. We all know that we're in this together.
Well, 35 years, a lot of people say, well, I mean, I've even heard them. Hell, I'm not even going to be around then, so what do I care? Well, I'm not going to be around then either, but I would love to think that not only will the state park still be here and the state wilderness in high quality, but also, you know, the livability of this little community here. This is a special place. And I would love to go out of this world thinking, hey, things are going to be fine there for a couple hundred years.